Next speaker is Melissa DeRosier. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is Melissa DeRosier. I'd like to start off by thanking all of you for giving me the opportunity to speak out to the public. I filed my first complaint ever with IA Pima County Sheriff's Department regarding Deputy Arvizu leaving his report inaccurate and incomplete, which is a violation of Pima County Sheriff's Department policy and procedure. He made it look like just a simple criminal damage. He did not mention in his report anywhere the death threats made to 3 individuals, one including my son, who was only 3-year-old at the time. He did not mention the fact that there was child endangerment committed. Glass was broken in my son's face and in his mouth. There was also several other things he failed to mention in his report, leaving it inaccurate and incomplete. That report was not responded to. The deputy had to update his report after finding this out. I obtained that updated report. It came to my attention that Deputy Arvizu then alleges in his updated report that he asked me if my son was okay and if he needed any medical attention. I filed my second complaint with IA along with my first one again, as it has never been responded to at that time, as that was a false statement. He never asked me, the officer never asked me if my son needed medical attention, never asked me if he was okay, never shined a light in his face or asked to shine down his mouth for better look for glass. I've been complaining about that from the beginning, and I had an audio with Detective Larkin stating this, and he put it in property evidence. And I also stated that on my complaint. I also mentioned in the second IA complaint that Arvizu alleged in his updated report that he took a weapon from Aaron's right side after he told him to turn around and put his hands in the vehicle. That also is a false statement, as he took the weapon from his left side and they were face to face. Aaron had also had an audio interview with Detective Larkin explaining how Arvizu took his weapon, and the 911 transcript will also reflect what was said when Arvizu took Aaron's weapon. I stated that Arvizu has tampered with the public record as he has made these false statements on a written instrument, which is public record. I believe when Arvizu was told to update his report for incompletion, he became aware that he had violated his policy and procedure, being that his report was incomplete. So he did not want it to make it look any further that he violated his procedure on field by not asking if we needed any medical attention, which they're supposed to do, from my understanding, and on how he took Aaron's weapon. So he had to add those false statements. Now I get this response from IA saying that I'm being abusive and harassing them because my continued attempts to contact them. I only sent 2 complaints, my first 2 ever. And they also allege that I stated Arvizu tampered with the report when I updated the report. I stated he tampered with the report when he made false statements. That never happened or was said. I get an intimidating letter from IA saying that they closed the case and not to send any more complaints after I made them aware that the officers violated 13-2407 tampering with the public record. And it's like as if they're covering up and they want me to go away. I will not. If IA is not going to investigate their officers to the fullest and all the facts on the case, then why are they even there for? If they're not going to charge or punish their officers when it is brought to their attention. I believe that Arvizu should be charged with this crime. If we make false statements or reports in any way, we will be charged. And if the officer of the law is supposed to uphold the law and if he breaks the law, he should be charged just like we would be. If nothing is going to be done about this matter, then that just goes to show the hypocrisy within the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Thank you for your time and listening to this matter.
Next speaker is going to be Aaron Ray. Mr. Ray, if you come forward and give us your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to bring some of these issues to your attention. Hopefully I can get an appointment with any one of you to discuss these in detail, but District 2 is my representative. Okay, one of the issues relates to flood problems. We've got a lot of drainage in our neighborhood. We've had other ones that have been repaired. One's still blocked today. Pima County may not even know where it's at. Another issue with flooding is the regional floodplain use permit, application. Within the verbiage, when someone signs this document, there is a clause at the bottom to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Pima County and Pima County Regional Flood Control District and their agents from and against any and all suits, claims, or demands associated with the approval of this permit. This permit was issued for a block wall on my street. In a regulatory floodplain now, maybe it wasn't then, but it's always flooded, and it floods more now with development around my neighborhood. What happens is, in my case, Regional Flood Control District told me I would have to sue my neighbors. Well, my neighbors cannot file a counterclaim against Pima County if they waive their right to file against Pima County. So now we're all out here with the big problem. Everybody's pushing water in different directions. It should go east to west. It's going north and south and back east and in the vehicles on my property. And here comes the monsoons and nothing. This issue hasn't really been addressed. I think this problem might be experienced in all areas of Pima County. Block walls going up without Pima County flood control checking to see where water should go. And if this clause was taken out, they might check 2 or 3 times instead of once or not at all, and make sure everything was smooth with what they were doing in harmony with the other neighbors and their flooding problems. Now, to a sheriff's issue, Melissa just spoke of it. I received an I response January 22nd that says, the deputy will supplement the report with the information that was omitted. The deputy did supplement the report. However, there are lies in the new report. How can I prove that? You're probably wondering. I have the transcript of the 911 call. In the updated report, the sheriff says one thing, but in the transcript from their own department, it doesn't say what he's now alleging, so I can prove that. I got the same letter Melissa got, and it says, however, abuse of the complaint investigative procedure will not be tolerated. Your continued attempts to argue with the methods of finding of the investigations referred can only be viewed as abusive and harassing. So I've basically, roundabout way, been threatened with harassment for trying to take them more information that they could use to prove my allegations. Now, if we look at obstructing a criminal investigation, a prosecution's classification in Title 13 of the Arizona Revised Statute, it says a person who knowingly attempts by means of bribery, misrepresentation, intimidation, which that's what I'm alleging, that intimidated unlawful imprisonment.
You're speaking a little fast.
Okay, ARS 13-2409, obstructing a criminal investigation. A person who knowingly attempts by means of bribery, misrepresentation, intimidation, or force of threats to obstruct, delay, or prevent the communication of information or testimony relating to a violation of any criminal statute to a peace officer, magistrate, prosecutor, grand jury, or who knowingly hinders another in his person or property on account of giving by the latter of any other person such information or testimony to a peace officer, magistrate, prosecutor, grand jury is guilty of a classified felony. I've been told not to file. I have victims' right in this case. In a case that's ongoing, I'm supposed to be free from intimidation. If I go take another information, they're going to arrest me for harassment. They don't want to look at the facts. I got facts that shows their deputy covered up and wrote information inconsistent to what happened. Additionally, now that I've been threatened with harassment, there's another obstructing thing along with the tampering with the public record thing. Now, I can ask you guys to all call the sheriffs and tell them that we're going to need a meeting down there. We're going to need to go over everything to put it in order. Or I can bring my information down here next week and make a high velocity impact example, hand it over to a sheriff deputy, tell him I don't want the people charged with these crimes and you can probably witness a cover up. Or maybe not, this could be a good guy, I don't know. But I can do something like that to make my point. Additionally, I'm the one that will throw myself into the gears. I will send more information to the sheriff's department. If they want to arrest me for harassment, they make my day because they don't have subpoena power. And I think we'll all get to the bottom of this issue a lot quicker than if we let them handle it. In which case we can, Ramon Valadez here has a bunch of my paperwork across his desk. He knows what I'm talking about if he's ready. I'm going to go ahead and let this subject rest for now, but I'm going to be back next week to give you an update. And so I'd like everybody to call the sheriffs and tell them not to cover up and take the information I have and do something with it. Because if they're not going to use their funding, once again, if they're not going to use their funding to do their job, maybe we can cut back on the internal affairs funding and put it into fixing our flood drainage leaks in our neighborhood. Because that's something we really need too. I'm going to thank you for your time. I hope I haven't offended anybody. But this is how I see it, and how I see it is how I call it. And I'm the research supervisor for the local Tyranny response team unit 000911. And in closing, thank you for your time. I hope we can get to the bottom of some of these issues soon.
Okay, thank you.